Hey, Editing Lulu here. I had hella technical difficulties with this stream. TLDR, my husband wasn't home, and he is my AV guy in addition to being a wonderful husband. So I had to cut out a lot in the beginning. If you notice a lot of jump cuts, things, not flowing smoothly, it's because I was cutting out long, awkward pauses where my lovely guest Mina was talking to me but could not be heard on the stream. So apologies for that, but you didn't really miss anything except a bunch of banter. Mina will catch you up on the things that you didn't get to hear once she's able to be heard. Hope you enjoy this Build Book feedback stream. Thanks for watching. Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I have two screens on the stream for the first time, and I'm used to looking at this one on work calls, so I'll try to look at this one. Hi, welcome to the stream. Again, so sorry for the late start. I had a Japan call that started at 6. They sometimes do go late, and I thought like half an hour was a good enough buffer. Not tonight. So I apologize for that. I will never again schedule a stream on a Japan call night, but I did want to make sure that our special guest today got her feedback in time to submit her build book. So I would love to introduce our guest. Tonight's guest is a good friend of mine, Mina. She is an incredible cosmetologist, incredible cosplayer, and my favorite cosplayer of my favorite Critical Role character, Jester. And if you probably can't tell, but this is indeed the official Jester hoodie from the Critical Role store. So yeah, I wore it just for Mina. Cool. So if you've never been on one of these streams before, this is literally I give feedback on build books. I see this as an area that a lot of people struggle with, especially if you're new to competing. Even if you're not new to competing, build books are very much an art and a science, and something that I learned, something I kind of like realized in retrospect is that they tell you to show up with a build book, but they don't really tell you how to make it. And there's definitely, I think, best practices and things you shouldn't do for build books. So I'm grateful to Mina for letting me review her build book on stream. We're gonna start with the most recent version. Mina sent me the crappy version, or however you phrased it, the one that you want me to roast. So I think we'll do that at the end. So I have the lovely PDF version open in one window, and then I have it open in Google Docs in another window, so I can put in any notes that I have. But as you can see, Google Docs ate the prettiness of the build book, so we'll try to stay on the pretty version. First off, I'm seeing that it's 11 pages, and I'm already very happy with that. So that is one of probably the number one or number two mistake I see with build books is that they are very long. So one of the things that I think like you become a better competitor when you start judging, because it's so hard to know what judging is like until you've actually done it. And that's going to be another content series. But anyway, here's the thing. We don't have time when we're judging. We get 5 minutes with like each cosplayer or each entry, and we're very lucky if there's like any time to go through a build book at all. So it behooves you to make sure that it is very short. So I'm a very big advocate of keeping build books short. I personally, I challenge myself to keep them to 5 pages because that's what SoccerCon required when I competed there last year, and I was like, oh, this is genius. So that's now a personal challenge that I do for myself. But anyway, starting off great. Beautiful. Another thing that I'm already liking is the graphic design is beautiful and simplistic, and I mean that in a good way. So this is a less common misstep that I see, but I have seen it done where people will go all in on making their build book like just elaborate and beautiful and decorated. Mine are made in Google Docs, and you are lucky if I change the font. I graphic design is both an art and a discipline, and in any other area I will like happily tell anybody to um I will happily tell anybody that they should try anything. All arts forms of art are an expression. Do whatever you want. However, build books are a form of marketing, and digital graphic design is a part of marketing. And digital graphic design is a discipline by which you communicate information visually. And if your graphic design is not effective at doing that, it can affect the effectiveness of your build book. So this is all great this is like, I love this very much. It's great if you can make it pretty, but it definitely doesn't have to be. So anyway, Mina's already getting many good points from me already. On the first page, and I have talked for like 80 minutes about it. Okay, anyway, there she is. She's beautiful and I love her. Base dress. Okay. I'm gonna scroll through this all the way and then like come back to it. For those of you watching, and probably for Mina too, I don't think I've told you this either, I have not looked through this at all. So all of these reactions are like completely in the moment. I did not even peek past like this part. So let's look through all of this. Here we have the armbands. Oh, that's cool. Doo -doo. I'm not going very fast yet, so let me know if there's still problems. Waist wrap, main dress. Okay. I don't know what I expected. Can I show this on stream? It's fine. They're just shapes. They're just shapes. Yeah, they're just shapes. Oh my god, yes. Hello, Sprinkle. Okay, this is incredible. Okay. So the number one point of feedback I'm going to give is, well, it's technically two things, but they go hand in hand. More pictures, less words. So one of the things that I like to do with my build books is I will literally, I wonder if I can pull one up without doxing myself. I can't. I apologize. But one of the things that I like to do with my build books is that I will put like a picture and then like a really short caption. I am a little bit, I guess like that is maybe a little bit specific to me and like my judging style. I'm a kind of a speed reader, so I can probably read a caption faster than I can look at a photo and understand what's happening in it. But I think it's also a good practice to get into because I am already like, if I'm judging, I'm already like glazing over all of these words. It's not that I don't want to read them, it's that I have 30 other build books with the same thing. Have they not been hearing you this whole time? Oh my fucking god.
Yay!
Okay, thank god. I hate it here. Anyway, so yes, Mina, would you like to, just to make sure that it records, provide the context for why your build book is why you've chosen to approach it this way?
My build book is very wordy because Phoenix Fan Fusion is doing their prejudging prior to the con. So all of my photos and build book have to be submitted by April 30th for them to judge then. Because in person, they will only be seeing my work for 3 minutes max to just evaluate and see for themselves, ask any follow-up questions. But that's it. All the prejudging's before the con. So words have to word for me because I can't word to their faces.
Okay, so that makes total sense. So that is an interesting way to approach things, and not, it's an approach that I don't necessarily disagree with. So I did enter at this con when it was still called Phoenix Comic Con in like 2015 maybe. And they still did do like only 3 minutes for judging, but that was with a build book. So, and I think this was also before Google Drive was a thing. So, I'm a big fan of the trend of Google Drive being a part of judging processes. Um, so I was saying that this is similar to how Heat Makeup functions in a way because it is a virtual contest, so there is no in-person judging. So basically, all the judges have to go off of is the final build book that you submit, which again is only is another instance where it's only 5 pages. And then the final performance. Now, the performances they only get to see once on the stream with everybody else, but the build books they do get like a week or so in advance. I don't remember how long. And so I am a fan of this because it is nice to be able to sit with the build books, take your time to go through them. Um, so yeah, I'll be interested to see how your judging experience is, Mina. So do keep me
I
updated.
will happily share. Oh, I will.
Yeah, I know. You and I are at the same team. Um, okay. So what I might suggest doing then is I'm gonna attempt to pull up one of my build books to kind of show as an example, and I wish I had thought of this sooner, so I apologize. Um, oh my god, I have to relog into Google. Hello? You know me, Google. What the fuck? Um, oh, um, doo -doo.
See, I'm definitely for like having to do this whole submission before the con because it definitely encourages people to actually work on their stuff before the
That
con
part.
and not con crunch and like sacrifice the quality of their work, especially for competition.
Yeah, that is a really good point.
So I'm like, yes, definitely. Even though like entering for Phoenix Fan Fusion, having 70 to 75% of my costume already done before the deadline is easy peasy because some of the items have been done for years. And
Yeah,
now it's just like, okay, now I'm just nitpicking. I already met the 80%, but now I'm trying to get to that 100.
yeah. I'm
Taken
pretty
me
sure local con I
years.
plan on entering the summer has you submit as much of your build book you have done by the deadline to cut down on in-person judging time. Yeah, I'm interested to see if that becomes more of a trend, and that will definitely change like how build books are put together. But I hope in that case that they should also provide some guidelines for what that build book should look like, in my opinion. Again, I'm
Hmm.
biased because for Hime Cup, we don't ask for specific layout or specific contents, but we do limit you to 5 pages. So I think some kind of guidance needs to be given, um, because even with Hime Cup and when we send out the build books ahead of time to the judges, I know that it takes a while for them to go through them. Um, Okay, I have almost found one of my build books. Maybe if Google Drive would open. What's a good one? I'll pull up my Melina one because that was the one I did for SoccerCon that changed my life. Let me make sure I have the final one because I'm a garbage human and I'm not good at file management.
See, I'm like, that's the one thing where it's like I will just I have to stay on top of them. I will go insane if I can't find things quickly. But like my system only makes sense to myself. Like my
Yeah,
resumes, I stopped like creating new resumes every time. I would just update the same one, and anytime I would update it, I would change the like name of the file to being my initials and the date that I altered it. Because I kept getting confused by my like old one. So it's like, which one's the current
yeah.
one? And then I give up
Okay.
and make a new one.
So, oh my God, stop. This is not the final one. I have no idea where it is because, like I said, I'm a garbage human and I'm trying to get more organized. But when I told y'all that I don't even change the font on my build books, I wasn't joking. I also do them in the Google Docs version of PowerPoint so I can drag things around because I hate trying to format things in word processors. But as you can see, I literally just do photos as the, like the focus with short captions underneath, and then I try to like lay out my pages as close to like on a grid as possible. Obviously with like some photos like this one of my cloak here, it's not always possible. Um but I try to like help guide the judge's eyes um
Mhm.
through the bill book. So that is what I would recommend. Um nope, let's go to the pretty one. Uh how I would set up your pages. Um yeah, so like move this down, move this up, move this up. Um I also I think you could save yourself a lot of space because of one of the things I didn't like fully read it, but I skimmed over it as a judge might. But one of the things I picked up on is that you mentioned a lot of things that you did for the previous versions. This is another kind of like common thing that I see people tend to fall into. I'm guilty of it too. We always want to talk about, as contestants, we always want to talk about the things that like the prototyping and the things that didn't work and like anything we remade, but ultimately the judge can only judge what's in front of them. So it's best to focus your time and efforts on the version that's in front of them. So I wouldn't, so like what you have here about the bell sleeve and recutting the arm side, I would take that out. Because then like you can highlight maybe some other things instead. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. I think for that, there's definitely areas in this that I can definitely make that adjustment. The adaptation for the sleeve is one thing I want to keep in because I was able to completely create an arm side and shoulder seam and create an entirely structured and new sleeve from existing fabric. Like I had no fabric to work with. I just had to cut from the existing dress.
Okay. That makes sense. Um,
I can definitely like if I need to condense pages, like definitely cut down on the like armband page, definitely.
I actually feel like there's more information I want on this. Like, how did you do these appliques? Like, that's not, I don't see that addressed here. So, like you say it's embroidered, but like, did you embroider it? Is it machine embroidery? Is it by hand? Like, that's something that I want to know more about that I don't see on here.
Yeah, because the embroidered ones are currently in my hands getting embroidered and are not on the page yet.
Gotcha. Um, so yeah, definitely discuss more of how that was done. That I love these like trims that you put together. But let's see. Oh, this is the second version, I see. So yeah, these are, unless you repurposed any of this for the third version, I would get rid of this entirely.
It definitely was. I'm on a completely different separate piece, so that's why I'm like, yeah, no, I can throw out all the others.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good. I like that's I'm currently working on a build book that for a competition that's like a few months out, that I'm keeping a secret. But I've had to do something similar with like my reference images because where I have to like include close-ups on each page. So I really like that you've done that because A, it saves a lot of flipping, but and B, it like you can immediately like reference exactly what you're supposed to be looking at. But yeah, the build book I'm working on for the costume, the reference images are kind of like all over the place, and I'll say like there's characters that have there's multiple characters that have the same outfit but in different colors, and they
Mm.
all have very different angles for their reference images, so I have to like do these like really ridiculous crops of like some of the areas for the reference images. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to present that, but fortunately You don't quite have that problem, but I just want to call out that I do like having the like close up reference on the page itself. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Kind of make the most of my one reference image.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of like a bit of a blessing and a curse is like, with one reference image, it's like you don't have to like worry about like combining reference images that like don't always like match up, but then it's like if you don't see something in that reference image, then what do you do?
Okay.
Um cool. So waist wrap. Um I would get rid of the original again, but I do like that you explained that you used cotton yarn. I am also a sweaty bitch. Thank you, Lexapro. So I have also been switching to a lot of natural fabrics, so I appreciate that call out.
What's fun is I'm not even I have a skin condition that prevents me from sweating, so I'm not even sweating. It's just like I'll just suddenly overheat and be like, oh, this is not good.
Oh, hmm, I see.
Yeah, so it helps with temperature regulation. Honestly, there's little to no synthetics in my daily wardrobe, and over the last few years, I've like moved away from synthetics. I have very few, and it's usually because they were already in my stash.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have to like I'm replaced. This is synthetic, but I am very warm, but I'm also very comfy and adorable. And I see my husband has entered the chat. Hi, honey. I heard you come in. Um. Oh, comment from Kira who says. A build book of mine was used as an example for this con on social media. My friend is the cosplay department person, and there's rarely build book required contests in her area, and she's aiming to change that. Yeah, that's kind of like the other kind of problem with learning how to do build books is that they're not always required, and then I often see contests where they don't require them for novices, but they do require them for masters, and I'm like, novice is when you should be learning to make build books. I think that's the most important time to be making them because it's truly one of those things that there's not a lot of knowledge out there about them. There's not a lot of resources, which again is like something I'm trying to change them. Um uh and so I'm very much a like every time you have a chance to make a build book, you should do it. A friend of mine, Hack on Instagram and TikTok, is an advocate of like I don't always make a build book if it's something I think I can explain, and I'm like I always make one because I want the practice and other reasons too that I'll get into later. But yeah, I think it's I'm definitely need to see. I want to see more cons require them and also offer guidance on at least some kind of guidance or requirements on how they should be done. Anyway, this is a thing I can rant about forever. That's why I do streams about it. Um, I don't. Is one of the judges like? Have they announced the judges? Are like any of them like crochet experts to your knowledge?
I don't think they've announced the judges.
Okay. Because I don't. This is a small thing, but I don't know if it's worth mentioning that it's only your second ever crochet project. Unless they ask about it.
See, I'm like, I don't, since I haven't competed there and it's only 3 minutes, and I'm like, I'm assuming they're just going to be like
Yeah,
flipping scenes and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm like, I don't know how likely it is to come up.
right. It's so tricky because one having only 3 minutes is one thing, but having like the build book sent in ahead of time is another. Like this is throwing me for a loop. Um,
I know. Because I'm like, because I was like, how am I supposed to say everything? They're like, no, you submit it in advance. And I was like, I don't
okay,
know
but
how
how
to
am I supposed to say
function like
everything? Okay, main dress, cotton flannel with cotton canvas inner liner, flannel lining, and the front two panels have a layer batting for the quilting. Cool. Bodice is flatlined and finished with interior seams with twill tape. Cool. Sexy. Um, Pattern is fully self-drafted with the hood large enough to fit over the horns. That's cool. That's a cool detail.
I call them
Instead
sleeping
of
hoods.
hmm,
Because I like to, I call them sleeping hoods because without horns, they're big enough to like fall to your sternum, and they're great for taking naps at cons.
incredible, big brain. Um, Instead of installing pockets, I opted to do pocket slits inspired by 18th century fashion. Um, so I love all of this. I'm guessing you don't have many photos of like any of these things.
The pockets or the pocket slits or both.
Like base almost everything on this page. Like so I would love to see like photo proof of self-drafting. I would love to see like some kind of photo of the pockets being made.
I can definitely make yet more pockets and document that,
No, don't do
but
that. Like I'm a big believer in like staging uh progress photos after the fact, but don't do that. Um
well, see, I already plan on making more pockets and things because I pretty much make a mask and a pocket for every new costume that I make.
I mean then go for it, but like I think having to remake something just for Build Book is maybe going too far, but if you're already gonna make some, then like have at it. But I didn't want you to think that I was like, no, you have to remake it so that you get pictures. Um but yeah, so like the other advice I try to give about Build Books is that um build books are not tutorials, but they are like even if you can talk about everything you made, it's also a way of proving that you did those things. So like I would love to see like a picture of like your even if it's just like your pattern block um for the dress or like a picture of the pattern. Hopefully you still have it. I know you've moved a couple
Actually, no,
times
I
though.
don't. Yeah, not in the most recent move, but the move before, I don't have any of my patterns anymore.
Oh man.
I'm also very guilty of drafting onto what ends up being my lining. So that lining
Oh,
fabric is actually the draft.
you're so much braver than I am. Like self drafting and putting your mock up into the costume. Like damn. Um
I mean, I don't want that fabric to go to waste.
I mean I'm the same way, but like I do so much like fucking up with my mock-ups that I always every time I try I'm like I'm going to make the mock-up my lining, it doesn't go my way.
See it, but I'm like, the fun of being influenced by historical fashion is that piecing is period. So if I mess up, I cut it off and just redo it. And just, have a bunch of random seams everywhere. It's fine.
Yeah. Um and do you have pictures of like you doing the quilting or anything?
No, I would have to, I literally would have to check my like Instagram stories archive from like 2 years ago ish. Oh no, 3 years ago, and see if anything exists there.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, so I would say if there's any other photos you can add to this page, I would love to see it, but I also understand like if the photos don't exist, they don't exist. So, um okay, so the trim, again, I would take out that the original trim, just call attention to the fact that you made the trim yourself. Um okay, I like this part. I love the close up. I love the dice. Love all that. And then the inconspicuous, not at all inappropriate shapes. I found confetti and punched the holes in them myself. Oh, so it was dick confetti.
Yeah, can you believe there were no dick sequins? I had to make the sequins myself.
Can you believe that there was no dick sequence? Can you believe? I had to make my
My
own dick
struggles
trim?
are real.
God. Um, anyway, I guess the only thing I would add is that if I'm looking at this build book ahead of time, I would love to see where they are on the costume. So if you could do like maybe a close up of like both of the trims together,
Like the old trim and the new trim, or just, or
or like wherever the
wait,
dicks are.
they're intermingled with the dangles because the hem is just dicks and dangles.
Of course it is. Yeah, so like a close up of that would be nice to see, because uh it's a little hard for me to visualize, so it'd just be cool to like um yeah. I don't know, I like this like close up shot with the like so you can see the dice, but like if you could maybe get one where you can see the dice and the dick next to it, chef kiss.
Hold on, I went to look at my archives and I have no photos of me actually sewing the dress. But wait, what did you just say? Because I had to close and reopen the stream.
It's okay. I was thinking, I was gonna suggest, like, maybe instead of this close up, even though I really like it, maybe getting one of the dicks and the dangles together on the dress as they are now.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Okay, cool. Um, cause yeah, like cause I see, like, you can't just be like, I made dick sequins and then not show me where you put them.
I
I
just
need to
like
know.
think back to like prejudging for ALA and the judge that I didn't know was just like it just had to be like, wait, hold on. Are these dicks on your dress? And I was like, yeah, thanks for noticing. And they're like, okay. And I was like, don't worry about it. It's
Yeah,
totally in character.
yeah. Do you have like a secret dick in the bill book anywhere?
Aside from the sequins, no. I could probably figure that out, but at the same time, usually my pockets are full of dicks,
Oh, that's
so
true.
I try not to go overboard.
I've been given one of your dicks before.
Did you get one this year? Because I had new ones this
I
year.
know you had new ones and I did not get one.
Do you want one? I'll save you one.
No.
Okay.
The last
See,
one
this is why
freaked me
I
out a little
asked.
bit.
You don't have to keep it if you don't want it. I'm not
I
offended.
think I did throw it out, but we were moving to be fair, so
Wow, you
anyway,
didn't even read Dick?
so fun story. A very popular prop maker by the name of Volpin Props draws secret dicks on everything he makes.
I love it. I feel like they and I would be very good friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, that's very Jestercore. Yeah. So we have one of his curse trophies in the office, and I walk by it and go, I know there's a tick on there. Okay, leggings.
Yeah, they're terrible. Like the ones I made for Ayla are terrible, and I'm probably just gonna end up remaking them.
Gotcha. Take
So that's
lots of
kind of just
pictures.
placeholder. Yes, I promise I will. I'm getting better at it.
Yeah, like that's like something that I always hear people is like saying is like, I don't think to take pictures, and I'm like, make content that forces you to take pictures.
Literally, my whole process of like doing the embroidery of like how I got the design onto the fabric, because like I did it in a different way.
Mm,
Like I didn't not just photos, but I took video clips so I can make me a little tiki-taki layer.
amazing. We love to see it. Also a trick that I have been doing to get good build book photos is actually I put my phone on my gimbal here, or you can use any kind of tripod that you have, and literally take a video, because then you can just take screenshots from it. That's actually helped me out in a pinch a couple of times because sometimes it's hard to get like that right angle, like while you're trying to like pose and like wait for the camera to go off. Just film yourself, take screenshots. That's my favorite trick lately. Um,
That's definitely gonna go to for me. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, it's so simple, but like it's so helpful. Anyway, beautiful leggings, incredibly made,
Thank you.
perfect
I
build look
worked very hard
damage.
on them. The crotch totally didn't split, and I didn't notice until after the con.
Been there, been there. Okay, sprinkle a crimson weasel and a companion of Jester. Anyone wanted him to be expressive and articulated. Look at his fucking face. I love him.
My favorite part of the haunted eyes.
Oh yeah. I found a file for a ball jointed otter and commissioned a friend to 3D print the pieces. I smoothed the pieces before covering them in fur and stringing the pieces with elastic to allow him to be flexible but stiff enough to hold a pose. That's fucking cool.
I found the greatest way, unintentionally, found the greatest way to like carry him around because I felt bad because he would just be in the backpack most of the time.
Yeah,
But he sits in my hood and peeks over my shoulder super well. Like I have a
right.
really cute selfie from the green room of Masquerade for ALA of just him peering over my shoulder. I was like, he's just gonna live on my shoulder now.
Immaculate. That's you. If anybody asks, you designed it that way because you're a genius.
Thank you, thank you.
Um, I'm gonna be a bitch and tell you to take this part out.
It's the part about him dying all the time, isn't it?
Yes.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I like it sucks because like those are the types of like things that like as a fellow cosplayer I love to know, but as a judge I'm like I don't have time for this. I love his pizza.
Yeah.
I love his pizza. I'm like you can't see it, but
I know, right? I worked very hard to make sure his little beans stayed visible even after like covering him in fur.
you should get a close up. Replace this with a close up of the toe beans. Everybody loves toe beans, so
Who? Yes.
okay, the wig. Cut from my stash that I cut and styled it myself. After liberating the horns from the prop, I attached them to the wig. I would love to see um how like your like rig instead of like maybe this like picture of like where you got the horns from. I would love to see like the rig that keeps your horns on.
They are quite literally stitched to the wig.
They're what?
I I sewed them to the wig.
That's fucking cool though. I want to see that
It
because
looks terrible though.
I don't care.
I
Like
like
you can't
legit
just
just
like
stabbed through the
as a judge,
plastic.
you can't just tell me I attached them to the wig. You have to tell me how.
That means I have to make it look nice.
You got time.
I I have 18 flowers to embroider and then have to go back and do filler embroider and beadwork on just the armbands. Like that is my priority to get things done.
Just take a picture. It's fine. Or at
I'm
least
like,
say I
I'm
sewed
so
them to the wig. At least say that.
okay. I will adjust my wording
Okay.
because that's something that I wouldn't be surprised becomes like a follow-up question in person and I can just flip up the horns to show them. Because they're not attached on the bottom so that it doesn't affect the stretch of my wig over my head.
See, that's smart though.
Thank you.
That's the type of thing like I want to hear about. And yeah, like to Kira's point, like it looks pretty in pictures, so like I wouldn't expect sewing plastic horns to a wig to have like immaculate hand stitching. Like I think it's okay. But yeah, like this is the type of thing like tell me how you attached it and tell me like how you made considerations for like
My
you
big
know
head.
the fit and like how it stays on and how it like stretches with your head and things like that because like those are the type of things that I think are what can often separate like a master from other levels is that like extra level of thinking about how things go together. Because like if I just looked at this picture, like I wouldn't really know how they're attached. Like they could be on clips and I wouldn't know because like maybe you pose just right so that I couldn't see where the clips were, you know what I mean? But like the fact that you put that thought into it, that's the type of thing that I want to know about.
Yeah, I think that was a question that came up last time I got this judged, and it was just like, oh yeah, no, just stitched to my wig. And one of them was just like, why? And I was like, I have ADHD. I misplace so much. It's taking everything in me not to misplace my Roftalia ears.
I mean, like, if it works, it works. Like, and I know, like, you've been wearing this costume for a while, and they've stayed on the whole time, right?
Oh yeah, I haven't had to do any like touch-ups or anything. They've
Yeah.
just stayed.
If
And
it
I'm
works,
like
it works.
my my toxic trait as a cosplayer is definitely like taking off my wig, flipping it like inside out, and then stuffing it into whatever wig cap I was wearing and just throwing that in my suitcase and not touching it until the next time I need to wear it.
We've all done it.
So
Is that
I do it
didn't
for
you have to
every
like
wig.
restyle your jester wig like at the con at ALA this year or something like that?
Yeah, but that took like 2 seconds. Like I spent more time on the commission I did the same morning
That's
because
fair.
I do wig commissions in my hotel room.
Listen, the grind never stops.
Exactly. And you know what? It's just extra like it's what allows me to like be able to go out to eat with friends at con is like doing those wig commissions at
Yeah,
cons.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so the haversack. You probably already know what I'm gonna say, right?
Yeah, don't need all the details of the backstory of it.
Yeah, I okay, let me reread real quick. Fantastic haversack and consistent with that of okay, I think okay, did you give it the three compartments as part of your pattern?
I don't recall if the original pattern had compartments or not. I think it only called for the compartment on the front, but I added the two on the sides.
Okay.
And this was my first like full leather project that wasn't just like a pouch for my belt for Red Fair.
Okay, so the details from this backstory that I would include are the fact that it has three compartments of extra dimensional storage space and point out that you did in fact add three compartments to the final product and I think you could reasonably call out that it was changed from brown to pink because that is very like Jester core. Um, but yeah, the rest of it, I don't think like. Here's the thing: backstory stuff like this can help explain why you make certain decisions. So in that sense, like there is a time and a place for those things. But again, like you have to consider like how much the judges have to like how much information the judges have to like absorb and so just keeping it to the things that are absolutely relevant um is going to serve you well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Um doo-doo-doo. And that's the last page.
Yeah, because I was like debating. I left myself a blank page just
Mhm.
in case,
Yeah.
because I know I had to make a little alterations to my shoes, but I don't, it's not a major alteration, so I'm okay leaving it out. And I didn't, and like I was debating whether or not to talk about body paint because like it was such a trial and error process to find one that I liked, and technically I'm still not happy with it, but I'm like, now that I'm talking about it, I probably shouldn't include that.
I think that might be worth including because I don't remember. Is it Courtney Lee? I'm sorry. For those of you who don't know, I used to live in Arizona, so that's where like most of my cosplaying days have occurred. So I still remember some people, but if I remember right, I feel like there's one particular judge that often makes the rounds that does do body paint. Um,
Oh, Amber Skies.
that's right. That's right. So it might be worth including that because like I'm a little biased. This is maybe a little bit of my preference, but I think makeup in general just doesn't get talked about enough as part of cosplay, especially in a competitive sense. And B, it is a very important part of bringing Jester to life. So I think you could very reasonably include a part about makeup in there. Even if you're not happy with it, you don't have to tell them that.
True. And I'm like, I do agree. Like, I was like, oh, this is apparently a rant that I didn't know I had in me of, but like abbreviated. of I agree that body paint isn't talked about enough because so much color theory has to go into like just thinking about what to apply because
Hmm.
with my highlight and my blush and everything for Jester, I'm using just straight up purple.
Yeah,
Like I've skipped trying to use pink. I'm actively using purple
for
to give
sure.
myself more dimension.
Yeah. And I think like the fact that you are a licensed cosmetologist and like know about these things, I think like um I think that like how do I put this? I think it's a cool way to show that you like have put your profession into this. And I also it could be something that helps set you apart and makes you a little bit more memorable. Not that I don't think you're memorable, but what I mean is like part of this is like another video that I've been meaning to make, but like I think there is a I'm a marketer, right? So I think about the judging process and build books as very much marketing tools. They are essentially like pitch decks or verbal pitches for why my costume is great and you should give me an award. So that's very much how I do think of these things. And so I do try to think about like what is it about me or my performance or my costume that stands out from the others. The story I always tell is when I judged Otakon in 2022. The first person I always remember from that masquerade is the Vega from Street Fighter that rapped live. He didn't even get a major award; he got a staff award, but he's the first person I think of every single time. And that really does help um, during deliberations to be very memorable. So that's all to say that, like, A, again, I think it's an underrated area of discussion. B, it will help set you apart. And C, it's an area you're very knowledgeable about. Um, so I think, like, it would just be a worth. And D, it's a big part of portraying the character.
Exactly. And also it gives me a chance to talk about my lipsticks because like the recent like TikToks and stuff of my Jester, I finally like found a lip combo that I was happy with
Mm-hmm.
that read the right shade of blue because I had to use a like kind of green toned lipstick but with a very pink lip gloss over it and got the right shade of blue and it had like perfect dimension. I was like, I will happily talk
See,
about that.
that's fucking cool. And, like, you know, there's a whole other kind of like learning how to do makeup on your like regular face is kind of one thing, but like again, knowing enough color theory and knowing enough about how makeup is applied to like know that like oh, I can't use pink blush. I have to like um I don't know. I know Kira in the chat will know who I'm talking about, but one of my favorite drag queens is Juno Birch, and she is a blue alien lady, and every time she does her makeup she contours with eyeshadow with blue eyeshadow because she again does same color skin as you do for Jester, is that like light blue, and so she always like contours with lavender. She does do pink blush most of the time, but everything else, like all the shadows, are done with blue. Um and if you're doing that for the first time, you might not be thinking about it, but and even if like you're doing like I remember like because I've never done body paint, I am so opposed to doing it. I have yet to find a character that I love enough to do it. So when I first heard like, oh yeah, I have to contour with blue when I'm in blue body paint, I'm like, that's so smart. Like it's so obvious when you hear it, but you're like, oh my god, yeah, you have to do everything completely differently. Um so anyway, I'm just
I
geeking out at
strongly
this point.
advocate for cosplaying Jester because it's honestly minimal body paint. I paint my face, and that's kind of it,
Right.
and it's great.
Yeah. Um
But whenever you get around to it, I will happily help you.
Thank you. We will see. The closest character I've come to liking enough for body paint is Ronnie from Elden Ring, and I don't love her enough for body paint. But I love Tanith enough to force myself to learn goldwork embroidery, and I just really wanted to talk about Tanith because I love her. Anyway, no one cares about Tanith, Lulu. Anyway, so that's all the
I
feedback I
care
have on.
about your interests, even if I don't understand.
Thank you. She is a beautiful woman who eats her husband's corpse, and she's done nothing wrong, and I love her very much.
Good for her.
I know, we love a girl boss. Anyway, so that's all the feedback I have on your book. Before we go, do you want me to roast your original book?
Sure.
Okay, let's fucking go. All right. Still good?
Yeah, the front page didn't change too much.
Yeah, okay. I almost like this better because I can see the pictures bigger. I will tell you that. Um, but yeah, I don't know what the fuck
Yeah,
this
this is
is, so
different.
I do appreciate how you explained it better in the new version. Armbands before versus after. Hi, honey. Do you want to come say hi to the people? No? Okay. Waist wrap.
Fine, I didn't want to say hi to him either.
Mina says hi. He's gone.
Rude.
See, okay, you do have a picture
Where do I have a picture? Picture of what?
of the
Wait, what?
dicks and the danglies.
Oh, yeah, no, I know I had a picture that existed.
There you
It just
go.
wasn't in the thing.
This is haunted. I wasn't ready for that. Yeah,
Hello.
this page is bad. Um, New one's definitely bad, and I'm not just saying it because of the fucking naked mole rat. It's new one's better.
That was just an eye test to make sure the eyes actually fit because the eyes are actually from my Hisoka ball jointed doll.
Yeah, Kira
They
says he's seen
share
some
eyes.
shit. He has. And yeah, the eyes fit. We're good. Um, yeah. So like, okay, honestly, if you weren't sending the build book ahead of time, this is actually closer to what I would have done, but I understand why you did not go this direction. So it's not that
Yeah,
bad,
it's
really.
it's a little cursed with like little to no anything other than just pictures because like I'm very much a here's a pile of photos to show my work, but
Yeah,
I most of your information is going to come from me talking.
yeah.
But
Um,
that's not an option this time around, and I don't like that.
yeah,
Talking
it's
is my
hard because
strong
like,
suit.
yeah, it's just judging's just hard. Anyway, um, so that's all for tonight, folks. Mina, tell the people where they can find you. I believe you started up a Ko-fi account that maybe people could check things out on.
Yeah, so I like to be able to share the where I find things. So right now I have my other jester costume of the level 13 coat. So you can find like for it is behind a paywall, I'm not gonna lie, but the paywall is like $1. Uh and you can find all the links to anything and everything that I used on there that is available. And if it's not that exact thing, I did my best to find something similar. But I am cosplaytology everywhere. Uh, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I don't think I'm on former Twitter.
Good, don't.
I just exist online.
Yeah, wonderful. And again, I am Lulu. I have been your host for this evening. This is my stream. If you enjoy this type of content, then thank you. Please check out my YouTube channel, which is probably linked somewhere below where you're watching this. I have a couple of other VODs up from other build book streams I've done. I did a build book review previously for my friend and partner, Novice Cosplay, and I've also done a couple of my own. I've done a couple of streams where I've made build books on stream. So if you want to see how I make them, like from a first-hand perspective, please check those out. And if anybody watching, if you're new here, thanks for coming. But if anybody watching ever wants, oh, we got a bot, honey, bot in chat, mods. Um, I don't know if he's paying attention. Anyway, good thing the stream's almost over. Anyway, yeah, so if anybody in chat who's not the bot would like me to review your build book on stream, I would be very happy to do so. I enjoy doing this, and I want to do it more often. So please reach out. I am Lulukokime everywhere. Oh, now he hears me. Thanks, honey. Sorry, I forgot there was a delay. Anyway, I'm Lulukokime everywhere. If you want to chat with me about build books, competitions, things, you know I love all of those stuff. All of that stuff. I'm quickly losing my grasp on the English language, so let's sign off. Mina, thank you so much for your time. I wish you the best of luck at PIF, the convention formerly known as PCC, and I will see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.